reference. Yeah, it's recording now. Hi everyone, thanks for joining. So quick thing, update from our end. I think today has been a great day in terms of organizing the build at Goa. So we have all our team members over here now who are working on all the parts are here. So next up, we're just focusing on the build in the next 1 or 2 days, and also the documentation piece. So that's what we've been up to. And in addition to that, of course, a bunch of calls around lab activations and understanding which labs could get on board. And I think I'll leave it to Bhanu and Abhi to sort of also do a quick round of the second level of cleanup that we did on the lab onboarding. And I think we already have about 16 labs sort of signed up at the moment and all of that. So I think it's been a good day of progress from our end. I think our focus next couple of days is knowledge sharing, documentation, onboarding and training of labs as soon as we can. And of course, sort of vetting everyone who's also put in their resources on the Airtable in terms of which region, how they can sort of serve it, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's where I have an update. I also actually wanted to introduce George on the call. He's joining us from Oroville. They have a makerspace in Oroville, and they have been working on the concentrator as well. They've been working on the concentrator as well last year. Hi, George. We had a quick catch-up call, and I think there's a lot of great information that George already has in terms of the research and the development work that they've done at Oroville. But George, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the group. This is a daily catch-up call that we do at 9 p.m. to just take an update on what's the status on different regions. But it'd be great for you to introduce, and then we can have a quick update from everyone else as well.
Sure. You can hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, super. Hello, everybody. I'm George. I'm actually based in Oroville near Pondicherry, and I'm leading a fab lab. We call it more like a farm lab. We're based in a farm, actually, and we've been active for about 8-9 years, mostly in renewable energy. And we've been doing trainings to village mechanics, carpenters around India, how to build small wind turbines. But then about 5 years ago, we started making digital manufacturing equipment, large 3D printers, CNC equipment for carpenters, stuff like that. And yeah, last year, I mean, we're also part of the Fab Lab and Fab City movements, but last year with some colleagues here in Oroville, we built actually a respirator. And so it's been working pretty much nonstop for about 7 months. So we're trying to see how long it lasts, and it's still working. And so we have experience with electronics, with machine design, etc. And the lab is with volunteers. So right now we have maybe five volunteers. We have a couple mechanical and a couple electrical engineers. And if nobody's been to Oroville, Oroville is kind of like a fab lab, but the whole city, where we pretty much for 50 years we've developed a lot of local technologies, and the idea is always to transfer the technology out. So a lot of people visit us here in Oroville. Not many people know about the Fab Lab. We've kind of kept it a secret because we get overrun sometimes. But in the last year, we've been working a lot with plastic recycling, and we have a team of people picking up all the trash from the beach and recycling it into doors and different items. Anyway, but now we are interested definitely in building a respirator, and last year we almost built one. So we kind of did a little bit of homework. We didn't actually build it, but we have most of the parts And the idea for us would be to, for the bioregion, for the Pondicherry area, be able to build them, and for Oroville also, and to help others building them. So we'll be happy to collaborate, and we're definitely not an expert in respirators, but I mean in oxygen generators, but I think we're all pretty much starting from the same base. I've only been looking at some designs, and none of them seem to be actual proven prototypes. So my interest now is really to understand who has actually built one, and or even if it's outside of India, you know, if there's a design out there that's actually been tested quite well, which up to now I haven't really truly seen one. But I think you have a design, so it'd be interesting to know more about it also and discuss details with other engineers. Anyway, thank you for having me here.
Thanks, George. Super excited to have you guys on board. I think all of us are in that process of figuring out how to do this locally. And what we've done, at least in the last week, of course, with the team in the US with the Oxikit, which has done a bunch of testing and has a bunch of cred that comes in from the open source community. So we're hoping that we'll be able to sort of redo and replicate all of that with local parts in the country. So yes, we're all on the same mission, and hopefully we'll all be getting on that together. I will pass this on to the next person. Maybe Bhanu, Abhi, you guys want to like give a quick update as well?
Sure.
Hey, Abhi, please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Good evening, folks. This is Abhi. Bhanu, I and Risa had been working to define the process and the documentation for how the labs could sign up. And then once they do sign up, what kind of support system they would need in order to successfully set up a lab. And so I'm going to start with some of the first engineering questions that we have open to kind of close on those documentation. And then I can, if time permits, I can give the walkthrough so we can go through, the whole process, if you will. So let me share my screen and then we can get started with that first. So Richa, can you enable screen sharing, please?
Sorry, 1 second. Hold on. How do I do that? Oops.
I think you need to change the host.
Oh, I'll have to change it. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I've made you the host, Abhi. Go ahead.
Super, thank you. So I hope you guys can see my screen now.
Yeah, you can see.
Super. So I'll go through this quickly. Actually, so yesterday we did a call about the process, how the intake will work. And some folks contributed with very constructive questions that some of them were part for discussion with engineering. So I'm going to start with the question number 10 onwards down here. And then once we've sorted this, if anybody still has questions about the process, we can actually give a quick demo of how we are thinking about organizing the lab grounds up all the way till state level. So starting with the first question on certification, a good question came up yesterday. What if what is the process of certification, and what if I mess up? In other words, if a lab produces something, ships it out, it's not producing the oxygen that it's supposed to produce, or there are other issues, QC was missed or was not done appropriately. it could cause an issue to the larger good that we are trying to do if there's some agency get involved and calls for some other action. So this is an important point. Have we thought about what kind of certification and QC process we will implement in order to make sure bad units are not going out?
I think, Anur, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. And yeah, I think it's pretty important. But unfortunately, because this is a sensorless system, in the sense we don't have feedback from any of the system parameters on what it's doing. At the moment, there really is no way to, let's say, remote fault find or do anything other than physically access the system and see what's going wrong. So unless we add some more, let's say, sophistication to the system in terms of, at least some kind of alarm systems to let you know what's going wrong, it would be difficult. On the engineering side, what we've been thinking of is how we can reduce the cost and yet have some sort of feedback. So one of the thoughts we are having is to figure out a low-cost way of giving you an alarm if the output oxygen concentration falls below a certain level, which we can set as, let's say, 90%, for example. But that's still untested. It's still unproved. We it's just a paper napkin sketch at the moment. If anyone's keen, I can explain what we have thought in terms of doing that. But otherwise, that's my answer. We don't really have a good way of doing this right now.
Okay, so let's park this question, Abhi. And I think as we progress in the next week, if we have a little bit more sense on that, we can update this. So let's park it to be revisited in the next couple of days again. Because we are also looking at other government agencies, etc., to sort of look at the prototype. If there is any way, of course, we'll update that as well. So, okay, let's go
One
to
more point from my side is this is also likely the reason why we may not be having any, let's say, feedback from users in the US, because I don't think they can use the system unless it is FDA approved directly on patients for sure. So that's one of the reasons, I guess. And let's see, hopefully if we can, somehow, because of the emergency situation, if we can somehow come up or go around that requirement, that could be the only short-term answer at this moment.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have a question, if you may allow.
Sure.
So I Abhi Ashish this side. So I just want to understand, the electrical or electronic certification is a separate part, or is the entire system that needs to be looked at for this certification?
So there are a couple of things here technically for medical certification, anything that connects to a patient is covered under the medical directive, and that is extremely, let's say, tight and strict. So I'm not sure if this comes under that, because potentially this equipment uses 230 volts AC or 110 and so on. So there are a lot of safety issues that crop up if we have to go that route, for sure. That much I can definitely add.
But do we have a list of certifications that we need, Anul, so far?
Frankly, I really haven't looked into it. There's been so much other stuff to do.
I can understand.
My day job is actually working on test equipment and stuff like that, but I really haven't had any bandwidth to do this.
So there's a guy called, there's a company called Sven in Pune, which we did a IC certification.
Conformity.
Yeah, Sven conformity. Yeah. So we can probably check with that guy. He seems to be the most aware guy in certification when we were doing IC.
Certification-wise, we have a huge number of test laboratories that can do this. There's Intertech, there's Underwriters Laboratories, there's CSA, and a bunch of others. All of them are known to me.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many of them are equipped to do this kind of certification, but that's something we can find out by looking up the NABL website and seeing who is certified for what. So that is definitely. at the end of the day, I mean, the bare minimum that the system needs to do is percentage of oxygen and flow rate. That's the two things that are most important. So if we can somehow, let's say, quantify that it does a minimum of X amount of concentration at different to go through the rest of the certification, which is why I had another idea about how to use this, but I'm not sure if I should bring it up right now or somehow later.
Yeah, maybe Anul will park that for a
Yeah.
deep dive discussion. Maybe
Yeah.
over here, Abhi, we can also put in Ashish as possibly a point of contact to check with Swan, get back to us in terms of if there is anything that we can possibly do. Maybe Ashish, you can take that up.
Yes, yes, sure, Richa.
Okay,
So
thank you.
specifically, if Swan can confirm two things, if they have a way to quantify the oxygen concentration levels, so basically outlet gas analysis, it would also help if they can also identify trace gases in it and percentages, so we have some idea of what else is going out,
Okay.
including humidity as well. And secondly, the flow rate. These are the two, I think, very simplest parameters. If we can prove that the machine meets these, then somehow we can, because of the emergency, say that, okay, this is what is available. If we can bypass the other certification requirements, this has a potential to save a lot of lives.
Got it, Anul. I'll get in touch tomorrow and get this thing done.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
One more thing to remember would be that we don't want to test it as a medical device. Just
Absolutely.
yeah, don't try and get a certification as a medical device. We have to get it as an industrial device.
Yeah,
Got it.
actually, as soon as you mentioned medical device, the medical directive of the ISO or the IEC already steps in. So you have lost the battle right at the beginning.
Got it. That's a smart idea.
Also, there's another reason why the most of the tabletop appliance kind concentrators, the ones which go up to 5 LPM, they come under recreational uses. So they are not actually per se medical devices at all.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's great
Yeah.
point. Thanks for the tip.
Yep.
Recreational use is a great thought. I think.
Next.
I like that.
Okay, shall we go to the next question? Yeah, Abhi, maybe we can just take a few more questions here.
Yeah, so I'll skip the QA part for now, but I'll get into the engineering. Let me get to the right one because some of them we already answered as talking about it. How can I monitor the unit's performance, how the product is being used? There have been chats on the engineering channel about putting
Did we
sensor or
lose Abhi?
Sorry?
I thought we lost you on the audio a little bit there.
No, he was
Can you
fine.
guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Will we have some sort of display or like what is the flow rate and what is the actual output, or that is the actual output measured is only for testing and QA purpose and will not be part of the unit?
Things here. Flow rate, there is a rotameter or a flow meter installed on the system, so that tells us how many liters per minute it's giving on the output. So that is available. Again, remember, every time you use this, you have to at least get it calibrated once, maybe. But the unit has to be validated or certified somewhere, otherwise it's kind of pointless. Regarding the concentration, no, we don't have any real-time measurement of it. We can quantify it using handheld oxygen analyzers and kind of demonstrate that it's doing something. But again, because there is no sensor on the device, it cannot monitor the output continuously. That's something we are thinking of as an immediate upgrade once we make the first few initial units.
But we will have those devices at the lab level so that one device can test n number of units before it's shipped from a concentration perspective. And then in the field, basically the users using the finger O2 meters or pulse oxygen meters to validate if they are seeing benefit. Is that mechanism?
I'm sorry, I think it probably was me, but I kind of didn't hear any part of that question. Probably I'm having a crappy network, but if it's possible to repeat what was said.
Yeah, so real quick, we won't have meters to check O2 concentrations with each unit, but it will be available at lab, was my understanding. Is that right assumption or no?
That's right, yeah. Because also they are pretty expensive at the moment. About 25,000 rupees is what I heard being said. And that's another side project we're working on to develop a low-cost oxygen analyzer, which we can possibly either put on each unit or at least have more of them rather than just one at each location. That cost would be around maybe 8K or lower. So about a third of the 25K version.
Cool. I'll share a O2 meter that I got. I believe in bulk it costs you like $40 here, but we can take that offline. How can I calibrate the machine? So is this going to be part of, and actually I think somebody raised a question that the walls, the pressure walls on the machine are like sort of easily exposed, and somebody can just tinker around with it and change the pressures, and now you could have a dangerous machine lying out somewhere. So like what kind of mechanism we should be putting in terms of engineering to prevent that accidentally being changed by a user or somebody in the user's house? So
Got you.
that's something food for thought.
So yeah, pretty valid question. The design as I see it now is what I would call as a technology demonstrator and nothing more. It's not something that you can actually use in the real field because of these exact same issues. But I think the Oxikit team have made some changes and come out with another version where most of the stuff is enclosed in a sort of a cubicle, which is all closed from all sides. And the displays are all nicely arranged on the outside, except for the compressor, which is kept separately for maybe some good reasons, most likely to reduce the size and vibration within the main unit, and also that you can probably use bigger compressors and keep them far away from the machine, or you can have a large compressed pipeline that connects to many concentrators via pipelines, for example. So that's something that I saw being shown by the Oxikit team. We don't have any plans or drawings or any kind of engineering info on that yet, except it's more of a, let's say, putting the same thing in a new packaging. So it's not something that we can't do, but I'd say again that's a slightly longer term goal unless we can prove the current version as it is. Only then I think we would move on to making these changes to make it safer, better, and so on. And there is a lot of scope to do that.
I would like to add up on something on that. I just was seeing some videos on YouTube regarding oxygen concentrators, and there was it's a risky thing because the pipes have oxygen. So if just the carbon or a flame comes in touch, it can burn the whole pipe. So I was also thinking, okay, when we design the valves and when you are able to change the pressure manually, okay, there might be a situation where because we are building the setup locally, so there is no good guarantee what pressure will break those pipes up or the system up. So if we have those limits tested at a point, we can just there's a flow meter already. If it's a digital flow meter, there can be a feedback loop to close the relays of the valve. So whoever is designing the Arduino code, or if there would be many of us among us knowing the Arduino code. So if we can just make a feedback loop there, sensing the flow rate. If the flow rate is exceeding this much, just give a warning or close the valve for a second, to again start it. Something
so,
like that can be thought upon.
So that will increase the cost. Okay, a flow meter costs around 8 to 9K. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure about flow meter. I was checking the oximeter. It is nearly costing 1-2K. Flow meter, yeah, I don't know the apparatus that this of the sensors that goes into it. I the flow meter I saw in the Zurich videos were I think analog flow meters. I don't know even if we can receive the data from those analog flow meters. It has to be digital so that we get the rate back in Arduino. Yeah, true. I will check up on that flow meters if there's a easy way to do that. But ultimately, if it's
I think
so. Vishal, sorry, just to confirm, can I assign this engineering task to you just for exploration? So there's somebody who's owning it, and you can help drive this to closure. Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely. I can check the census part. If required, I can also change the Arduino code according to the architecture to get the feedback and like put some warnings there. Like we can start with some branches, and we can again, like, yeah, I can take up that in coming days too.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool. Moving to the next question. So, and this is an important one. A lot of folks who
Just
have
one
already
point,
signed up, I think we have seen.
One
ahead,
point
Anul.
before you proceed, it's on the previous one about sensors. I just wanted to add that you can get sensors which can measure both simultaneously. So concentration as well as flow. However, there are certain restrictions on how you can use them. For example, flow rate is limited to 10 liters per minute. So you have to have a hack where you have a main line and a bypass line, and the sensor measures in the bypass line how much is going, and is kind of correlated to the total flow. But it's possible, and those sensors are available. I can probably share links somewhere, or it's already there in all of the various conversations we have had on the Telegram groups. So those sensors are available.
Okay, I think, yeah, maybe I think Vishal can explore that conversation, close it. I think, yeah, the engineering group can have a chat on that, I think, separately. We can move on to the next question, I guess.
So the next question is about creating, subject matter expert lists. I know there's a lot of folks doing really great job here. A lot of learnings. Have we thought about, and if not already, like, can we start a sheet where people can volunteer, and at least 2 or maybe 3 people minimum, we have SMEs that can help labs with their questions. They get stuck, they can quickly log in and or do a chat and resolve those. At some point in time, I do expect that our videos will be so foolproof that people can just watch it and build it. But until then, like, we are still in the build and exploration and experimentation phase, and we do need that SME support. So instead of, like, have everybody free fall through all the subjects, we could probably divide and conquer and probably get better faster. If that's not already started, I can start a sheet today, and then people can sign up. Can somebody confirm if there is already an activity on this? Or actually, is it worth it? Like, do you guys agree that this is a better approach, or if you have other ideas, that's welcome too.
Okay, you're saying as like centralized or decentralized?
Decentralized. I don't think there's anything centralized. Like, it's all volunteer based, and whoever expertise and willing to contribute, more than welcome.
So you're saying the Sieve building sort of to be explored with SMEs on a distributed level. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no. So okay, let me clarify that. So if there are labs in remote areas like Tripura, Mizoram, somewhere, right, and they have some challenges in building sieves, right? So they need some SME to talk to and say, hey, here's what I was trying, here's what your documentation says, but I'm running into this issue, like, what do I do, right? And somebody to kind of help them walk through, because otherwise, if lab has signed up and if they are stuck, they're stuck for all the units they could be building. So we need somebody who could help them, and it shouldn't be like, go and talk to this channel. It's like,
yeah,
here's the SME for sieve building, and then, or for Arduino, and then kind of, drive them to those folks.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I agree.
Anul, you have too bad connection. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. You really have a crappy connection, but I think that's a great suggestion. What I can suggest is for those who have, let's say, slightly, like those who are working from home, for example, and have a little bit more time on their hands, if they are able to sign up for these kind of tasks, it will be those of us on the field trying to actually make this work a little more time, because I can jump into a lot of those conversations, but then I really just have 24 hours to go through. So frankly, for the last 2 days, I've barely had time to read through the Telegram groups and see if I'm needed somewhere or there's something that needs my attention. So sorry if anyone's been pinging me, but that's the way things are. So those who have more time, if they can raise their hands and sign up, that would be awesome. Give us more time for those on the field making the stuff actually.
Yeah, so maybe, I just have a thought, Abhi and everyone else as well. Maybe there could be a peripheral group to the engineering team that could have an insight into the conversation, and specific streams can be assigned to them. So in the case that they can go back to the expert with a bunch of questions and clarify and come back, would be possibly another way of sort of looking at it. So a peripheral volunteering engineering team, just to clarify FAQs, etc. So sort of interfacing between labs and the folks on ground who are prototyping. So it could be like a one-time chat to possibly answer 10 questions together, kind of a, you know, like a helpline of sorts. I don't know. I mean, that's just a thought.
Abhi, not what Richa is saying, but now that you're doing this, do you want to look at like a Kanban or something like that?
There is something we haven't just got there yet, but yeah, great idea. I think we should start something where people can. I think GitHub channel was already started, so maybe we should move these all the action items as well along with, so knowledge base is getting built. So we'll do that.
Noted.
I think Arjun is doing that on Miro. As we speak, it's updating on the live.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm not familiar with that, but I will get up to speed later today.
So I just wanted to interject and ask, what's the link to this GitHub repo, or are you still using the one that we set up at the asylum, or is that a different repo?
No, I think either you or somebody posted a GitHub link for documenting all the learnings and stuff like that.
Same repo.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe this action item of the engineering support can someone volunteer to take that up is the question.
So there is two actions here. One is like just create that sheet and SME and then kind of put it in the right communication mode so folks have easy access and can get to it. And then second is about engineering, validating, and then people signing up who are the SMEs to help support. And we can divide this in a tier 1 and tier 2. So folks who have expertise but less time can be, second level when really something with a larger blast radius is impacting, they can look into it. But if it's just an end user problem, right, like somebody is doing something wrong, then maybe the first level folks can just chime in.
Fair. I think that can be sort of taken. Okay, let's go to the next couple of questions because I think we still have some engineering questions.
Quick question, if I can.
Yep. Go ahead.
Just wanted to know, what's the link to the GitHub repository that you mentioned? Is it the one on Maker's Asylum, or do we have another repository now?
No, it's the Maker's Asylum one, Anul.
Awesome. So any changes being made, just let me know, send a pull request, and I can merge them.
Anyone
Cool
else
thing.
working on the GitHub at the moment? I think Arjun.
Yeah, I've been, so the way I've been working on it is just forking the repository, make your changes and just make a pull request.
Okay.
And for the group, I've made subgroups, like subfolders for CAD, electronics, etc. So then those can be managed in a modular way, but we can figure that out later.
Okay, awesome.
The next question is also relevant to GitHub. Probably, maybe we can do BOM versioning and the specific process attached to the bill of material as part of it as well, because we have been finding that there are at least 3 or 4 versions of the bill of materials, and the processes are not actually 1:1 mapped, and so there's steps either wrong or missed or inverted or things like that. So we need to actually have somebody assigned as an action item to take probably a day or two in next week and kind of make sure this is right. Whatever engineering labs wants to start with, we have at least a clean version to start with, at least one BOM, so people can start ordering stuff. Who wants to volunteer for that?
Okay, I can just add a little bit to that. The reason we have the different BOMs is because right now let's say the issue is ordering or getting the parts. So, for example, I can't get everything from one location. And there have been different teams working in different locations trying to get hold of parts. And in many instances, you can get similar parts or something equivalent, but not exactly the same. Part numbers are different or so on. But I think, yeah, this is a good point. Eventually, at the end of the day, we have to have a common BOM. But I think right now, this is probably a good way for us to get everything that we want by getting different people to source things from different places, and we can kind of pick and choose that. If I don't get a solenoid valve from the Bombay BOM, then maybe I can choose the Bangalore one and get that, for example.
Okay. The next question is associated with it, but just to confirm, Anul, would you be doing both the bill of material and the process binding with the bill of material, or is it going to be just the BOM, and then we can have somebody look at the build process with the associated with the BOM?
I really have to apologize because I have a pretty bad connection, but if this was addressed to me, I didn't hear it. But if someone else can answer it, please go ahead.
So I think Abhi is asking in terms, I think from a BOM perspective, I think you can put Anul on that, but the process of the build process mapping, maybe we'll have to identify one more person.
Any volunteers?
So what kind of, let's say, help are we looking at in that sense?
So validating that the build process that we have is actually same, is valid in terms of the bill of material that is procured. So I'll give you an example. Arduino had wrong cablings, and so folks can connect and blow things. I did that. We need to make sure the process is accurately mapping that, okay, if you have Nano, then you have to do this, versus if you have Uno, then you have to do that.
Got you. So we have some folks working on that in the background. In the sense, for example, in the engineering, in the electronics group, I have created at least 3 different sub projects. One is to build an analyzer. One is to make better electrical wiring diagrams with pictorial representation of what each part is supposed to look like. And the plan is to have, in fact, different schematic diagrams depending on what you have in your BOM. So if someone has an Arduino Uno versus someone has an Arduino Nano, then we'll have 2 different diagrams that tell you how to wire those 2 brains up, for example. So that's work in progress. Unfortunately, I don't have a computer that I have shown you what has been achieved till now. But hopefully, Ashish is working on it in the electronics group, and we should have some. But yeah, the process of that is ongoing at the moment. We're also looking to see if we can get pneumatic diagramming software, which can allow us to at least visually see what is supposed to happen. Like when a valve opens, what happens? When it closes, what happens? But yeah, we haven't made any progress on that.
Is there any volunteer who wants to help, be the POC for this for now, and then if we want to revisit that in upcoming days, we can do that.
There's someone who's not in the meeting right now, Vedant. He mentioned that he can handle the pneumatic diagramming.
Awesome.
So Vedant for pneumatic, okay, I think these we can then, I think we probably need to explore, broaden the list or granularize it, but we can take it offline. I think I kind of get the answer. We need to park this for now. Who is responsible for the training in the training list? So first question are these the right trainings? And these are YouTube trainings, by the way, for folks coming and opening labs. So we've got communication, how to communicate, how to report your build status, demand and supply management, which I think is pretty broad area on how to source the part, how to make sure the bill of material is right, and all that stuff. Oxikit build process, this will probably have like 6 to 7 different processes on pneumatics and Arduino programming and sieve building and everything. So like this is one line item, but maybe 6 or 7 other processes inside it. And then QA process, just making sure we don't ship units before validation. delivery process, getting sign off from the users, explaining them or some sort of documentation to, if especially there's large delivery, on how to operate the machine, how to troubleshoot the machine. So those kind of things, training for, I mean, just like, who's who, how to get help and not get stuck and not call out or escalate. So that process, what's the criteria for lab certification and lab validation. So these are the trainings that we could think of that may be needed for lab, for people who open the lab. So if this is comprehensive enough, we can start with this, but then I need, as a next step, who are the folks who will get these trainings up, and we need to have it probably in a week's time if we are there, if not all of them, like some of them, so that we can start on sourcing, reporting mechanism, communication mode. Some of these are like non-engineering ones, but we do need volunteers to kind of this YouTube videos out. So I'll start a sheet. I don't think we can cover that all in this call right away, but as part of the SME list and the training list, I can actually say, folks, sign up, and then we can take a pulse tomorrow or day after on where we are with some of these, and then curating the content for the training so that we are accurately defining that.
Sorry, Abhi, on that, I think WebHub can also be part of this team to drive the knowledge sharing piece. And of course, along with other folks who can drive individual tracks. So you can put WebHub on this as well, along with, that other, I mean, we'll have a larger conversation on this as a separate track, I think.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody, I hope, is also keeping a track of tools list on what are the tools required for lab to be successfully operating. And we have put that list. We can take a look at offline, but I'm sure like we are missing a bunch of parts. And so we want to make sure somebody on engineering side has looked at, and we are keeping that up to date. This is another GitHub item. So if somebody uses a tool that's special or not easily available, we might want to actually put that in there. Oxygen purity testers probably is one of those, probably one of the most expensive ones as well. So I want to make sure this is comprehensive for successful build out. So I don't know if there is a person for this.
Yeah, I think that's something we have sort of overlooked because being part of a makerspace, since we are always surrounded by tools, we haven't thought about, well, we usually have everything we need. So we haven't thought of that from the end user perspective. But yeah, if someone can create a list of tools, it needs to be done for sure.
So
Abhi,
go ahead.
I think between Anul, Vijay, and Vaibhav tomorrow, they can take a look at this sheet and see if there is anything missing. Vaibhav and Vijay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can put my name. It's okay.
Yeah.
Same thing for skill set. I think it's not a high priority right now, but it's important because there are certain processes that with people with specific skill sets will be more successful and efficient compared to like me, a jack of all trades but not expert in any. That if we can actually help identify for folks, it will be helpful for lab owners or lab enthusiasts to successfully run that. And this is a question that comes a lot, like, oh, what kind of people I need? And so we've put that. I'm gonna just it's not a long list. Maybe Anul, you, Vaibhav, and maybe we can close this tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I think that should be good.
Okay, are we ready to broadcast the communication? So we shared that with the team yesterday, the draft communication. I think we already have 16 sign up. Did you say? That's I was not expecting that fast, but that's awesome news. Yes. Do we need to broadcast this further, or like it sounds like by tomorrow, then we will be already meeting our goal. So
I think so too, because I think a bunch of labs that I've been talking to, because I've been taking a check on specific groups and their progresses, and they've not added themselves yet. But I think the next couple of days, I think we should be sorted at least from the level 1 of the hub identification. In the case of, so we can possibly start the onboarding and at least understanding what do they need if they don't have anything. Between maybe you, me, and Bhanu, we can take that up to sort of just have a cross check with labs as a consolidated conversation that we were thinking about in the next 2-3 days.
Once we have that video coming up.
yeah, plus we have a few more videos sort of coming up, and also some workshops that we can sort of have a conversation about tomorrow. But once we have the schedule in order, I think we'll just broadcast it as well. But I think, yeah, I think we will be good soon. So quite excited about that.
So if anybody has any reservations or any concerns with the communication draft that we shared on the channel, please let us know end of day today or tomorrow morning. Monday, at least I'll be sending, and this is a broad group. So just want to make sure we have looked at it, and if there's concerns, we have addressed before. All right, last question, not the least one. Once we build a kit, do we take it to Goa to validate and test? Oh, okay, that will be quite, I don't know. I don't know where it came from, but yeah, short answer probably is no. Yeah.
No, if anything builds a kit, they'll come to Goa to validate it. No.
Okay, I'm just gonna rephrase this to sound a little better. Where is the kit? The unit certified or QA tested, and it's at the lab.
At the lab, yes, exactly.
It was manufactured. It was assembled. Okay. Super. I am done with my engineering questions. Super duper. Thank you. Unless anybody has additional questions, we can move to the next topic and cover probably the sign up part either now if time permits or tomorrow as we feel.
Maybe tomorrow, Abhi. I think
sure.
That's in line at the moment. I don't think so. There's massive confusion there. So I think we can take it up tomorrow. What I will possibly pass it on to is if anyone has anything general that they would like to share, because I think specific groups are talking specifically, but any particular lab update from any region in terms of progress, etc., all welcome right now. Okay.
I just want to say, so
yes.
I've updated a couple of new parts that have come up. For example, these trace gas sensors and stuff in the Delhi bill of materials. So if you want to sort of make that common across all bill of materials, we could somehow go through that. Because I would assume that Chennai and Hyderabad might not have those in the list.
Sorry, I did not. So which one? Which part are you talking about?
So for example, the electronics gas sensors for the trace gases.
Okay.
And other sort of these new parts that are coming up in our design.
Okay.
I've added them to the Delhi bill of materials.
Okay.
But I don't know if they are there on the other bills.
Okay. I think that that would be the bill of material sort of cross-checking, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, got it. Okay. Anyone else would like to go or?
Yeah, sure, Brett. We formed a team today in Hyderabad. I guess we're going to host it near our home here. But most of us don't have the right skills. We will heavily depend on training in the upcoming weeks. Thanks.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Banu. I'm so sorry. What did you say?
Okay. I was saying that we have a team formed in Hyderabad now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And none of us are super deep into the kind of expertise that you guys have in Goa and some of the other labs. So we'll be depending on the training material that's going to come out in the next few weeks. Thanks.
Fair. Got it. But awesome. Congratulations on getting that going in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
I think one quick insight, Banu, I think there is an Oxikit which is already functioning in Hyderabad. I can connect you to the guy who's made it.
Yes, please. I pinged the wrong Krishna and he said it's not him. So please connect.
Yeah, I will ping you. I'll connect you to the right one. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to give it a go?
So Richa, we spoke earlier about the Mumbai lab, right?
Yes.
So I have like a verbal communication and on email the space that I was talking about.
Right.
But I'm just waiting for an like on paper sign off. So once that happens, I I think we should be able to get people working there. So I'll let you guys know.
Amazing. Thanks, Gaurav. So Mumbai also getting activated. That's awesome. Yeah, I think 29 does not look very difficult right now. It's looking good. Amazing. Anybody else with any update? Otherwise, we can call it a night and we'll catch up tomorrow.
Last update, I pinged a link to the registrations. Just pull the data from a table and put it out there. It's on my personal website. So whenever you're comfortable, we can move this to the main Maker Asylum website or wherever we decide.
Okay. Okay. I think that we can do that separately, Banu. I'll talk to you about that. Okay, done. Okay, I think we're good then for tonight. We'll catch up with everyone again tomorrow. Thank you for joining. See you soon.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh.